Welcome, everybody, to Tidal Flooding Talk, brought to you by the New Jersey Coastal Coalition in conjunction with our partners at Triax 57 News. I am Joe Martucci. We have the whole crew here today: Dan Skeldon, Palma Shiles. We have no guests for you today. This is, we'll call it a special episode. Our goal is that you don't notice any difference, but on our end, we'll just let you know. We are recording this way in advance because our schedules could not align for our July 15th episode, and to be and not to blame other people, because really it's my fault. I'm not here on the 5th, or I won't be available to record for the 15th. So Palma and Dan were good sports, and we are recording this on a Sunday morning. Dan, you look like very comfortable. No shirt and tie, pink polo shirt. Life's good at the Skeldon household, looks like, on Sundays.
Yeah, it's my Sunday morning look. Now, when we're recording this, it's supposed to be 90-something degrees, hot, humid, and dry. It is 70-something degrees with thunderstorms coming, and it's a completely busted forecast. So, I mean, if you're taking the blame why we're recording this early, since you're going to be away, I'm going to take the blame as well for this really busted, late June forecast as we record this.
We're hoping that everyone forgets. They're like, "What day was that? What day did they record?" That's the ultimate goal for everybody here.
Right, and the July weather will be so beautiful that no one's going to worry about what happened.
Exactly. Palma, I think you're the most comfortable of all of us. I'm wearing like a sweater. He's in his pink polo. You look like life's good on Sunday morning. Is life always good on Sunday morning in the Palma household?
I can't complain. I already had a cup of coffee. Violet slept in a little bit today until about 8:30, so that's not bad.
Right.
Well, I think we're going to try to go to the beach today because we're not really getting thunderstorms here, but it is a little cloudy, but that's all right.
Yeah, I told Palma off camera where I am in Monmouth County, it is raining and lightning right now, but I said I don't think it's going to get all the way down to Atlantic City, so we'll hope that it stays that way. All right, no guests like we said for this time. We will have plenty of more guests for you the rest of the summer. We actually have done between all three of us, finding guests like well in advance, so we'll always have somebody else, because I don't know if they want to hear us, for 30 minutes straight, but you're going to today. And we thought we kind of break this down. We'll do some serious stuff. We'll do some not serious stuff. We'll go from there. So we have some questions that are real questions relating around tidal flooding. We'll start with Palma first. We'll go with her. Palma will toss them back to Dan and I, and then we'll toss it back to Palma. Yada, yada, yada. All right. So, Palma, as the Margate's construction queen, is that fair to say? Can we call you that?
I think so.
I like that.
You like that? Okay, good. Yeah, we'll roll with that. So let's start with this. If a home is damaged, right, from a storm, probably from coastal flooding or storm surge, and they need to hire a contractor, what are some things that they need to know? Because as we know, we've talked about, Sandy was a long time ago at this point. There are many people, and maybe in Margate, how many people are new since Sandy, but there's a lot of people who haven't been here since Sandy, but it's going to happen at some point. So what do people need to know?
Right, of course. Well, first and foremost is make sure the contractor you are hiring is licensed and registered in the state of New Jersey. You could do that by contacting the Division of Consumer Affairs. They have everyone's license information, and you could even ask if there's any complaints against that contractor as well. Because on a local level, each municipality is not responsible for licensing these contractors. It's a state license, so that's why it's best to contact the state to check on that contractor. Especially, I know other states have seen this too. After a storm, a lot of out-of-town contractors pop up, and it's very easy for people to be taken advantage of after they receive a lot of damage from a major event like that. So that's what I would say is the most important part. And then after that, when it is time to do the work, make sure they're getting a permit. You could call your municipality's building department and see if a permit is required for what work you plan to do. And then also, of course, there's the FEMA 50% rule. So if you do have to make more than 50% of improvements to your property after the damage, then you may have to elevate the structure.
Let me ask you this, because a lot of a lot of people, obviously second homeowners at the shore, they're from New York, they're from PA. What like happens if they hire a contractor who's licensed in PA or New York?
Well, that contractor would also need to get a license in New Jersey if they want to do work in New Jersey.
But I guess what I'm saying is, like, what if someone's like, screw it, we're just gonna go with this guy? Like, what happens?
Well, they would not be able to get a permit.
Okay. All right. So that's what I'm wondering. So they wouldn't be able to even begin to work because they can't begin to work until they get the permit to begin with.
Right.
Got it. Okay. Cool.
Okay, interesting.
Cool.
Palma, as someone who works in Margate, lives in Atlantic City. I mean, you are just like entrenched along the shore. How knowledgeable? Now we know every single coastal year-round resident and visitor doesn't watch Tidal Flooding Talk, but what's your feel as to how knowledgeable are folks who vacation along the shore and own homes along the shore? Like, how many you come up? You're the creator of these great memes and like full screens we put up on the New Jersey Coastal Coalition page, like know your flood zone, and you kind of mix some humor into the message we're trying to get out. What do you think is how widespread is that message getting out? Like, how knowledgeable are people along the shore? Do they know their flood zone? Do they know their threats? Do they know the stuff we talk about on Tidal Flooding Talk? Or do you think it's news to most people?
Well, now in 2025, I think most people have at least a little bit of an understanding of what's required, or that there is a threat here, for coastal flooding. However, a lot of people say they didn't know a permit was required, or, things like that a permit's required or not. So I would say that we still hear that quite frequently, and that's why people rely on their contractors to tell them, hey, you need to get a permit. But you should just always check with the building department, because they're the ones that will tell you for sure, like, yes, you absolutely need a permit. And that's what I would say the first step would be.
Okay.
Bob, I know you had some questions for us. We're ready.
Yeah, that's true. So,
I mean, we keep asking you if you want. We just don't want to overwhelm you with questions all at one time.
That's great. I guess to start off a little light, what's the weirdest question someone has asked about a storm or even a forecast?
Oh, the weirdest?
I think for me, just the one that pops up, a lot of school visits we do, kids ask the weirdest questions. So when you first ask that question, I can't tell you how many times has South Jersey or New Jersey ever gotten a Sharknado before? That's the weirdest, not tidal flooding related talk question, but that's the weirdest question I've gotten, repeatedly before.
Yeah, that's a good one, Dan. I'll go with a different one here. This I get every once in a while. People will ask me, do the contrails from the plains have anything to do with these thunderstorms today? And the answer is no. Yeah. They don't. So that one's always a weird one. That's obviously a conspiracy theory one that people like to say, but no, those airplane contrails do not have anything to do with those thunderstorms today. All right, we're already at segment 1, so let's take a break here. We'll come back with our second segment here on Tidal Flooding Talk.
Welcome back. You're watching Tidal Flooding Talk. This is the Tidal Flooding Talk hosts unplugged. It's just us three, and we're asking each other some questions. And I think I will follow up from my last question with, do you think that there's still some misunderstanding with weather warnings and alerts?
Yes.
What
Dan, you want
Simple,
to
maybe?
simple answer. Yes, nothing enough
Yeah.
said.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can elaborate. I mean, like, I get it. Like, I understand, like, especially with the advisory thrown in there. So let's actually just take a step back, right? What is a watch, a warning, and an advisory? So a watch means the ingredients are there for whatever. So it could be winter storm, could be hurricane, tornado, severe thunderstorm, heat, cold, there's more. That's usually issued 48, 72 hours in advance of it happening. Then from there, you have two options. You can go into an advisory, which let's use coastal flooding, since this is tidal flooding talk. Coastal flooding is more of your nuisance flooding. We call it minor flood stage, where, you know, the usual spots are flooding, but it's not a major problem. Or you go into a warning, which means it's a bigger problem. Usually it's moderate flood stage, major flood stage. You know, this is where the, you know, getting off and on in the islands will be a, not, maybe not impossible, but at least a hazard. Driving around a number of the streets, they're flooded out. So, you know, you can have a watch sometimes and there's no warning that follows it, right? Sometimes there's just warnings that more or less pop up without the watch, especially on the advisory sense. There's many times where, you know, you get a heat advisory to pop up without the excessive heat watch that comes out first. So there is a difference. The other thing I'd say is the National Weather Service is working to really reduce the number of advisories that are issued. And actually, I don't know how you feel about it, Dan, but I think it's a good thing. I think watch, warning, I think most of us can understand that. I think the advisory is really the part that kind of trips people up.
I agree. The Weather Service is always tweaking with them these watches, warnings, and advisories. Sometimes they nix one altogether. Back in the day, there used to be a snow advisory. You know, that's gone now.
Yeah.
Excessive heat watch and warning, which you mentioned, that was changed to extreme heat watch.
Yeah,
and warning.
extreme,
So
right.
they're changing the names. So there is confusion. There can be fatigue sometimes. So yeah, I think eliminating the advisory and with coastal flooding too, you know, advisory stuff is just something that happens a lot of the time and that we're used to. And yes, maybe it's a little more than just the nuisance stuff, but you know, watches and warnings are what people react to. That's when they lead the news cycles, when we're under severe weather watches, warnings, or coastal flood warnings. So I think simplifying it is definitely helps with the messaging as far as, you know, the public is concerned.
But we should ask you, Palm. I mean, as a honorary meteorologist, but not a, you know, not a didn't have the meteorology classes like Dan and I did. Like, does it come like intuitive to you, like advisory, watch, and warning?
I think I would agree that perhaps the advisory message might be a little bit more confusing or broad, whereas watch and warning, maybe it's just because we've had that forever. We know exactly what to expect from watch and warning. So I would say I think that would bring more clarity if we just stuck with those two. And I guess my follow up to that is there always a watch before a warning? Or have there been cases where warning is, you know, right away?
That's a good question. And ideally, the Weather Service would love to go watch, then warning. You know, that way the watch increases the awareness, highlights the potential, gets the public ready, and then when the warning is issued, bam, you know, you act and you've had plentiful time to prepare. Joe alluded it to earlier, though, it doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes things can, you know, pop up all of a sudden, like a random severe thunderstorm pops up in a warning area where there is no watch. And, you know, coastal flooding, usually we see them coming. You know, there's not too many times where all of a sudden it goes from nothing to a warning. Severe weather is a little more, you know, happening at the moment. So, that could pop up pretty quickly. Hurricane watches, we see them coming for days. That will usually go watch to warning as well. So in a perfect world, yes, watch will always precede warning, but we don't live in a perfect world weather-wise and probably never will.
No, 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 we won't. Pavel, we'll toss the question over to you. What is the most misunderstood part of your job? And tell us, like, really, what is a day-to-day like in your position as well within the city of Margate?
Sure. Well, I guess misunderstood, I would say we're not here to stop people from building. We're really here to make sure that what you do build is done safely and to code compliant. You see a lot of things online, or you hear like, oh, I shouldn't need a permit for that, or there's too much oversight building code wise. And then on the flip side, when you see a catastrophe happen, like a roof collapse or something horrible like that, horrific, where there's fatalities, then you hear the other side where it's like, well, where were the building codes? Did anyone inspect that? So it really, I guess I would say that's where we are misunderstood. Like, we're not here to stop you from building your dream house or renovating for what you want, but we just want to make sure that it is done safely. Day to day,
Right.
there's depends what season we're in. It really depends.
It's
So,
wild at the office. It's
yeah.
wild. It's like Animal House in there.
Yeah, we deal with a lot of different things, code enforcement, zoning, and rentals, resales, and then of course your construction permits. So
How many like new houses were built in Margate in like 2024? Do you know?
I don't
Okay.
know. I don't know.
But
Palmer,
like, yeah,
do you have to deal with the irate public, someone who maybe doesn't understand the process? Like, are you ever put, Joe and I have to deal with the irate viewer, when you bust a forecast. Do you have to deal with like irate residents or homeowners where, they don't understand the process, they're frustrated, and you have to kind of be the one that calmly explains, hey, we're here to help. I mean, we're not the enemy. So I guess, like, how often do you deal with frustration?
Of course, and whether it's an irate contractor or homeowner, we have dealt with that plenty because really they're paying for a service that they don't want most of the time. They need it, they're required to have it. So, of course, from time to time, you have someone that is just not happy. And there are a lot of rules and regulations, and there's a lot of paperwork involved with permits. So it gets frustrating, especially to a homeowner that does not deal with that on the regular. So we try to be patient with them and understand that it is a frustrating process sometimes, and we'll just try to make it as people friendly as possible, but also we do expect some sort of respect, professional respect, and that's mutual. We can't be berated, for just trying to do our jobs.
right.
So it
Yeah.
really, like, we'll try to calm someone down or de-escalate the situation, but if it's absolutely impossible, we'll ask them, like, please call back or come back once you've had a chance to calm down, because it's really to no one's benefit if someone is really that angry or raising their voice to that extent.
Yep.
And we should say that's true in all things in life too. I know we're a tidal flooding only, video here, but we can offer some sage life advice as well. Everyone.
Sure.
All right, we're gonna take another break. We'll be back with you on the other side with Tidal Flooding Talk. Thanks to the New Jersey Coastal Coalition, your flood insurance bills are lower and your streets safer from the reality of flooding. Since beginning in 2013, we build more resilient shoreline communities. Our member towns develop and share in best practices that anticipate future concerns and create flooding solutions. From our town-specific free web app for flooding information to our weekly Tidal Flooding Talk show, we focus on flooding 24/7. Visit www.njcoastalcoalition.com for more.
Welcome back to this week's kind of round robin version of Tidal Flooding Talk, where we're just kind of peppering each other with random questions, some weather and tidal flooding related, some not, with my co-host Palma Shiles and Joe Martucci. I'm meteorologist Dan Skeldon. All right, so this is kind of the last segment. We're going to do kind of like rapid fire round robin questions. Who wants to kick us off?
Palma, you want to go?
Sure. So we're kind of doing like a who's more likely to segment here. So I guess we could all answer these.
Yeah.
And the first one would be, who's more likely to name their pet after a hurricane?
I'm going to go with Dan.
You think so?
Yeah, I like to try to separate like work and play,
Okay.
you know.
One
But
second. Come here, Sandy. Sandy.
oh, there we go.
No, we have Reese and Rosie. There have not been hurricanes.
Oh, all right.
But yeah, I mean, because we use common names for hurricanes, or at least some of them are common, I could see perhaps naming it after. So I'd probably go me as well. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I will say we have a cat named Autumn. Does that count? Like, it's not hurricane, but it's hurricane season in autumn.
Yeah.
You know. All right.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely doesn't separate work, Joe.
That's yeah. Maybe I'm lying to myself
Yeah.
here. Maybe it is me after all. All right. Question 2: who's more likely to secretly love snow more than beach weather?
I think we got
Yeah, I think that's you,
again.
man.
100%. I mean, I say it very softly, knowing it's not a popular opinion, but summer's my least favorite season. I go kind of fall, spring, winter, summer. So yeah, and I do love the snow. 100%. I think I'm in the minority there, though. I think I'm outweighed by you guys, correct?
Yeah, I mean, so if we're power ranking the seasons here, I would go summer, snowy winter, spring, fall, not snowy winter. I got to make 5 seasons because
I do like the separation of snowy versus not snowy. I think it's a good class.
I think that's key because otherwise you're just sitting in 50 and like mostly cloudy for 3 months. Like that's not fun.
Palma, what's your ranking?
I would go fall, summer, spring, and then winter.
Okay, snowy
Because I
and
feel
not
like-
snowy winters, right at the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the snow if I don't have to drive through.
All right.
And as far as spring goes, I just kind of feel like it doesn't know what it wants to be. So you never know how to dress or anything like that.
I think that's very true, Dan. Like, are you tainted now that you're away from the coast that spring is actually maybe a little more consistent than our sea breezes?
Well, spring can be a beautiful season. Along the Jersey Shore, very seldom is it a beautiful season. It has that potential, and this spring was pretty miserable. But living away from the shore now, I do see the beauty of spring, and that's why I actually bumped it up on my list. It's fall, spring. I like the transition seasons. When I was at the shore, spring was at the bottom because it was, as Palma said, kind of like non-existent.
True.
All right, my turn for a question then, and we're going to go with, let's see. Who's more likely to tell someone that they need a permit at a backyard barbecue?
I'm going to have to say this is Palma because I know she wrote this question, so I'm assuming it's her, but maybe she's like, I don't care. I don't know.
I want to ask if Palma has ever done that at a backyard barbecue. Maybe that's a better question.
That's a better question.
Someone that.
Good point, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough sometimes because you don't want to sound like you're telling somebody like what they should have done or what they need to do. But I may have, hinted to that.
Do you want to share that story, or is that like just under wraps? What happened there?
I can't even say. I don't want to say.
Okay.
It would reveal too much.
All right. So, but let me ask you a question. When you say, because maybe I am the naive one here, what constitutes a backyard barbecue for a permit? What level of barbecue are we talking about?
I don't mean that the barbecue needs a permit, but that
I see.
somebody something is needed while you're hanging out at the barbecue.
Oh, okay. All right. I misunderstood. Got it. Okay. Yeah, we'll go with Palma now.
Absolutely.
All right. Is it my turn or is it? I think it is. Who's more likely to explain CRS points at a bar? So, just to quick recap, CRS points, community rating system. That is how you, as the residents, get discounts on your flood insurance through FEMA, and that's really our main thing here at the New Jersey Coastal Coalition. So, anyway, to ask the question, who's more likely to explain CRS points at a bar?
Joe, I think you just answered your own question. I think it
Yeah,
might be you.
I didn't want to be, I didn't want to be selfish, but I think I would volunteer myself for that one.
Yeah, I agree. Joe
Okay.
all the way.
Yeah. All right.
And if you buy him a beer, maybe he won't do it. He'll just he'll give you a break
That's
for a
good
free
point.
drink.
Good point. Good point.
All right, so who's more likely to be called the flood lady or the weather guy at Wawa?
I'm gonna say Dan.
For which one, the flood lady or the weather guy?
Yeah,
Both.
I think so too, Joe, just because so many people have recognized him from
Yeah.
past news here at the shore. So if you are, hanging out at a Wawa around the coast, I think you'd be the
Yeah.
weather.
I mean, I think definitely if you're south, if you're like, what are we gonna say, Dan? Like south of LBI at a Wawa?
Um, Perhaps, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good question too. Just while we're on, it's not a who's more likely to, but how do each of us define South Jersey? Where's the cutoff? South, Central, North?
Oh, I have a map already drawn and stored in my computer to pop out. I'll go first. South Jersey, it depends on the time of year. So during the not summer, well, we'll say summer because it's summer now. During the summer now, South Jersey is pretty much from like Bordentown, Burlington County, down to Eagleswood, so just south of Manahawkin, and then over to Brigantine. But during the off season, I include Stafford, Manahawkin, and LBI in South Jersey because I think the locals have more of a South Jersey relationship than the tourists or the second homeowners that come into LBI because there's a lot of northern influence in LBI during the summer.
I think Joe was waiting for that question. He was ready. And I like
I
how he
told
breaks
you.
things off, snowy, non-snowy winter. Depends on the season for South Jersey, North Jersey. I think it's great. You're very particular and very specific.
I've thought about this, but I'm curious to hear what Palma says. Because here's the thing, like Dan, like you and I have lived in different places. Palma has lived in South Jersey her whole life, unless I'm mistaken. So where do you sit on this?
Well, I guess like when it comes to along the beach towns, I haven't had like an exact answer, but I don't know, like the beach haven areas, like I don't see myself going further than that north. But I guess like Manahawkin is a good general idea of where I would consider anything north of that is not South Jersey, but
Okay.
How about you, Dan?
sounds like a hot take, so I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyone's
during,
welcome here.
during my NBC 40 days, I always just did Atlantic, Cumberland, Salem, and Cape May counties of South Jersey, and everything else was not, whether it be central or north. I think in my age, I've kind of I'll go Parkway exits south of exit 63. So we're all kind of in the same area.
I think also, and I can go off on the rails on this, but let me say this too. I think also because of where the bridge to LBI is also changes things. Because I feel like if that bridge was in like Tuckerton going to LBI, I think people from like Atlantic and Cape and Cumberland would feel a little different about LBI because it's literally closer to get to LBI.
Or if there was a bridge from Beach Haven to Brigantine.
Dan,
And that was proposed way back in the day, right?
I was very proud of this piece I did at the Press of Atlantic City about that about 2 years ago. Yeah. But here I got a question for Palma though. Where does Asbury Park sit in your mind?
I'm not sure if like I mean I we went there during COVID to take like cool pictures, and it felt like a pretty far drive.
Okay. But would you
So,
say that's Central Jersey or North?
well, that depends if I think there's a Central Jersey.
Oh boy. All right. Yeah, we'll have to save this for another topic. So it's not, let's say it's not South, but when people, to your point, last point, South Jersey, right? Cherry Hill, South Jersey, and Atlantic City, South Jersey, I feel like are two different things. And I also feel like with the Jersey Shore, people say, "Oh, we cover, we're at the Jersey Shore." You know, there really is a difference between like Long Branch, Belmar, Seabright, Jersey Shore, and Avalon, Stone Harbor, Cape May, Jersey Shore. So I think we all know that, but just putting it out there. All right, that took a lot of time, but go ahead. All right, what do we got next? Who's next?
Dan, maybe?
I think I just posed that Jersey question, actually.
Oh, okay. So,
Oh, all right. Go ahead, Palma.
all right. Who is more likely to own multiple weather radios, just in case?
Hmm.
Joe, how many weather radios do you own?
I only have one.
I have one at work and one at home, so I guess I don't know if I own the one at work, but I do have multiple. So,
But here's the thing, mine's like covered in dust right now. Oh my God, look, here it is. It's right here.
Yeah.
I should keep it on. I really should.
yeah, with cell phones doing what weather radios normally do, as much as I've had a weather radio since I was like 8 years old, and as an 8-year-old
Yeah.
kid, it was my favorite thing. It was on all the time, drove my family crazy. I mean, they're still important, 100%. Because you may or may not have phone technology like in a disaster. But the weather radio isn't, that as popular as it once was, perhaps because of the evolution of technology.
Did
So
you
you
have
would-
like? Oh, sorry, Palma. Go ahead.
I was going to say, would you still encourage everyone to own one, just in case?
I think so, Joe. I mean, right? Because if in a hurricane, let's say, cell tower goes down, you could very well say that the weather radio tower could go down as well. But it's a backup to have. Just like if you have like a flashlight in case power goes out, you can have a weather radio. They're inexpensive, and
Yeah.
they convey very important information. So I think it's just a nice little peace of mind backup to have.
You know what else too, Dan? Like if you go fishing like offshore, like you're going to the canyons and stuff, like the weather radio will be better than your cell phone service. 'Cause you might not even have cell phone service depending on how far you're going out. So
Yeah, very good point. Yep.
yeah. So yeah, good question. Okay. All right. Are we at our last question? Yes, we are. Uh, well, we kind of talked about this. Watches and warnings. Who's more likely to explain the difference between watch and warning unsolicited? I'm gonna go with Palma.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, done.
All right, easy.
Easy. All right. Okay. Well, that's pretty much it, guys. We usually do the one thing we can't stop talking about, tidal flooding or otherwise, but since we're recording this so far in advance, I mean, what we might have on top of our mind now might not be relevant later.
I will say, though, that this is airing in mid-July. I will
Yes.
say a preemptive, and I'm not sure if I'm exact on the date. Can't stop talking about a 6-month anniversary for the new launch of Tidal Flooding Talk, which launched back in January. So happy anniversary, guys. Again, I don't know the exact date, Joe. You probably do.
I can find out very quickly. But yes, you are right. We did relaunch it back 6 months ago, and let's see if I can find the date real quick.
I want to say it was like 3rd or 4th. It was early January, but
it was. You know what? No, our first episode launched, Dan, on January 28th.
Oh, it did. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So we started out with just the three of us going for it. We had our first guest on February 25th, and I would like to say, I hope everyone who's listening has really gotten a lot of value out of it. I think us changing to a Zoom format has allowed us to bring in a more variety of guests. We love the Irish Pub in Atlantic City, but it's also hard to get the director of the Hurricane Center to come from Miami, Florida to Atlantic City.
Right.
And, our numbers have had really, since we started having guests, have grown. And it's all thanks to Palma and Dan, and special shout out to Palma for really coordinating this episode. And we really hope everyone here has enjoyed it and learned something too along the way.
Well,
I'm really happy with our team now, and it is fun, a lot of fun having all
Yeah.
different guests and even just us.
well, we'll have to mark the official 6-month anniversary then in a couple episodes from now. Then
We absolutely will. We absolutely will. All right. So for Palma, Dan, I'm Joe Martucci. We'll be back with you next Tuesday with a new Tidal Flooding Talk. And like we said, we'll bring back guests as we go forward. We hope everyone enjoys and has a great week ahead.